Well, I could spend the whole night ranting tonight. I could rant about the fact that there are so many bad drivers on the roads that it's no surprise people are getting killed. Maybe part of the reason for that is the fact that people were in lockdown so long that they forgot the basic rules of the road. I could rant on about how the government are using our money to send out not just misleading posts from their little army of Facebook paid trolls, but actually blatant lies where they've got people pretending to be rail workers, to be postal workers, to be nurses, firemen. And the daft thing is, these people aren't even bright enough to use different profiles to be used for the lies. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable, this country that we're living in. And then we're being lied to by everybody and the dog. For instance, banks. Right, we bailed all the banks out. Do you remember? That was a key cause of austerity. Austerity, that thing that killed my brother, killed countless thousands of other people. I think at the last official count, it was around about 150,000 people died through austerity, and that was prior to lockdown. So I think we can easily double that figure, if not triple that figure. And that's without all the people that died through the lockdowns, through mismanagement, and sadly, the massive levels of corruption. I'm going to go on to that in a minute. But in the meantime, the thing that I'm actually wanting to say about the banks was the banks tell us that they're closing local branches to save money. That's fine. Where's that money go to? Do you, with your current account, get any of that money? No. Do you, with your savings account, get any of that money beyond what the national interest rate is? Don't think so, do you? Do the workers in the branch get pay rises? No, actually, they lose all the wages. So, no, they get 100% pay cut. So, who gets that money that's being saved? Could it be executive officers of the company, the boards of directors, and the shareholders? No, it couldn't be that, could it? It couldn't be that because that'd be corrupt. That would be them actually saying, we're closing the branches to profiteer out of it and make our service not fit for purpose because we're greedy. They wouldn't do that, would they? Bank executives, bank directors, and shareholders being greedy? Can't believe that. No, that goes against everything that capitalism stands for. So, yeah, it's all a bit of a mess right now, isn't it? And this mess, I have heard on the plus side that Sunak is trying to organise this amazing bonfire firework display for Christmas. It's going to be all over the UK. He's just in talks at the moment with Putin to arrange it. So this is where my brain fog kicks in because I can't really remember what I was going to talk about next. There was something. Now, we've talked about the banks and we talked about bad driving and we talked about the government lying to us. And that was it, wasn't it? We were going to talk about the mismanagement and corruption during the pandemic. Well, there's a certain member of the House of Lords that's been caught out this week. Don't know if people will be aware of that. If not, why not? She was caught out because she was profiteering from companies that were her mates or that she had her fingers in, so to speak, regarding PPE. And the figures we were talking about weren't just a few £1,000 here or there. Not that a few £1,000 is a lot of money. To be right now, a tenner's a lot of money. Some families, 10p is a lot of money. But instead of her thinking, well, the government need to be making sure that we get value for money and making sure people are safe, she didn't. She did the opposite. She thought, oh, opportunity. Now, she wasn't the only one. So, although the media are focusing on her, please realise she is not the only one. And the corruption was probably almost, if not every single, in my opinion, this, by the way, don't sue me, my opinion, I'm allowed it, was every single Conservative MP, whether front bench, back bench, and a certain number, sadly, of what we laughingly call the opposition MPs. In my opinion, not that they're laughingly the opposition, because they are laughingly an opposition, aren't they? They're not really much of an opposition to a government that they aid and abet and enable all the time. Now, the reason that I feel I've got a right to talk about this, and I'm not trying to bring the organisation that I set up during the pandemic into the political arena, but what I will say is that what I did set up was a group of riders, and it wasn't just me that set it up. There were other people that were really important in that, and some of those people are still part of the group that we set up, and they're amazing human beings. Without them, there was no chance I was going to manage to achieve anything. But we set up a group of riders, and we put them together with the people making PPE. Bear in mind, the majority of the PPE, certainly as we moved on from the first couple of weeks, was World Health Authority standard PPE. So despite the government telling us that we weren't to call it PPE, and despite us having a signed contract with the government in regard to supplying PPE, and we did all of that without a single penny changing hands. We were completely and utterly cashless in every single way. Nobody got paid for petrol. Nobody tried to get paid for making the equipment. Nobody got paid for doing all the hours that all the admin team did. None of that. Right? And so not a single penny changed hands. But we, for no cost to anybody other than ourselves, managed to get 10 million plus pieces of PPE out across the UK. And not just the UK, to other countries in the world. Some really close, some further afield. We had the use of a plane. We had the use of people's wagons, of storage centres, all donated completely free of charge. Not one of those people was trying to use the pandemic to profiteer. Not one of those people displayed any signs of greed in any way, shape, or form. And yet the people that are supposed to be in charge of our country, the people that are supposed to be making decisions that we're supposed to be able to trust because they're in positions of power and positions of trust, we're profiteering, we're ripping us off, we're putting lives at risk, and very likely resulted in people dying on a mass scale. Now, I'm not some expert in viral disease medicine, but I do have an element of common sense. And I think when people are trying to profiteer and lay blame at everybody else's door, and they're there stood on the doorstep of number 10 Downing Street and all the other political houses clapping for the NHS, and then they treat the members of the NHS the way they have done, kind of says a lot. We are living in a time where our government is not just immoral, not just corrupt, but dangerous to the point of murderous. Dangerous to the point where lives don't matter, money matters to them, and not money to use for the benefit of the nation, money to line their pockets, to make their bank accounts that much bigger. Some of them with bank accounts that they could never try in a million years to spend that money, but they want more. And we, the people, all of us, are stupid enough to let them carry on. When people say enough is enough, it really is. We've got to put an end to this, and we've got to put an end to it now. We can't carry on like this. People are dying. Those people are our family, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbours, and us. No, it needs to stop. Anyway, anybody that's actually managed to last the whole 11 and a half minutes, well done. Thank you for watching. If you can, please share the video far and wide. Take care.